syndicated radio talk show host.
Sally.
That's right, Sally. We've decided to start calling him Sally.
You know, I like when you spank me and call me Sally.
Man, you are something else. I was saying, should I call you Eric Mancow Muller? And you said, call me whatever I want. And I said, okay, I'll call you Sally. And
Sally.
Now your new name will be Sally.
Whatever. How are you, Alex?
I was about to say something really horrible.
You troublemaker.
You know what? I saw this early last week, and I said, that's going to be big when it had a few thousand views on YouTube. Now it's millions all over international television. And now you supposedly are a Che Guevara hardcore communist, according to the controlled right wing, even though you actually support torturing people still. You just admit it's torture. You're now bad because you dare admit it's torture.
Alex, my friend, you've done it. You've done it again. Look, this is a lose-lose situation for me. I was convinced that water sprinkled in the face was not torture. The right loved me. The left continued to loathe me. I am not a Republican. I am not a dummy crap. I am a libertarian. Now, the stupid people in this country don't know what that is. They hear libertarian and think, oh, liberal, well, you must like Obama. No, I want the government to leave me and my family alone. I want to be able to drink raw milk that isn't controlled by the government. I want school choice. I want these sorts of things.
Pure Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. And what's happened here is I set out to prove that it wasn't torture, and I came to believe after I was waterboarded live on my silly little radio show that it was torture. And what happened is, you have to understand, look, Pelosi knew, the dummy craps knew, the Republicans knew, everybody knew. So it's not left and right. That's the game they play. I'm left, I'm right. You know, listen to the puppets. But who is the Geppetto here? It's the corporate-run country. So they have a vested interest in this never being decided. So when Fox and MSNBC and CNN and others came out and said, wow, this is torture, they want it to be kind of a non-issue. Now, I also said this is a bigger issue than me. I cannot make the decision on this. I'm an imperfect individual. I don't believe that our brave, proud people in the military did this for their jollies. I think they did it to save American lives. Would I pour water down somebody's nose to save my child? Yes, and I would do the same for your child, Alex, or any of your listeners. So, I'm in a really ugly position here, friend.
But that's the issue, is you're seeing what the neocon establishment is doing. You go on air and you say, I still support this, but it is torture. And that isn't enough for them. They want us to play the mental mind game of saying, no, this doesn't cause a panic attack. No, this doesn't simulate drowning. And I had Jesse Ventura on yesterday. He pointed out that, in the escape and evasion training in the Navy, they also jump on your stomach with their knee while they pour the water down your nose. And they've got to have medics there on top of it, because this would really hurt people. I think Dick Cheney and Nancy Pelosi and other people that have been saying this isn't torture, how about they get waterboarded? I mean, volunteer for it.
Well, listen, I want to say something about what you just said. There is a lie that is going around, okay, and that is that it's drowning. Now, I talk about in my book, as a kid I drowned and I had to be brought back. It
simulates drowning is what I said.
But Alex, it doesn't. It doesn't. I've been whitewater rafting even in your area. You're an outdoorsman, I know. This isn't gulping for air. This isn't like drowning in a pool. This isn't like that. This is worse. And to your listeners...
Oh, really?
To your listeners who say, as I did, you could hold your breath. This goes into your sinuses, fills up the back of your skull with water. It cuts off all oxygen to your brain, and it's instantaneous. I had severe chest pains. I had, I went into this laughing, the smartass that I am. I thought it was no big deal. Let me just say something else. Immediately, these bloggers, and I believe many of them are fronts for government agencies. They lie.
Well, let me stop you. That's declassified that tens of billions are spent by both parties a year in fake news and fake blogs.
Right. So you can't find who they are. You can't sue them. You can't. So all these lies went out that I had perpetrated a hoax. Now, look, I have a silly little radio show. I wasn't trying to say that when I got waterboarded, it was exactly what happened at Guantanamo Bay. So people would say things like, well, was it a licensed torturer? No, it was not. Did you have chains around you? No. Here's what it was, and this is not the Khmer Rouge method or anything else. This is the CIA. Your legs have to be up, you're elevated, your head back, and water is poured in your nose and in your mouth. That's it. And so for them to try to discredit me, I wasn't trying to do it exactly like at Guantanamo. I was trying to prove that it was not torture. I don't understand how they think I would fake it to prove myself wrong.
But the Army Field
so
Manual
stupid.
since the 1960s says it's one of the most effective forms of torture.
Right.
So there's never been a debate. They just continue with an ignorant public to tell them that it's a fun thing to happen and it's no big deal.
Right.
And I've talked to people that have been waterboarded. They said it just elicits the panic response. Is that what happened with you?
Alex, it was horrific and it was instantaneous. And I went in like a punk, laughing, and I thought I could hold my breath for 30 seconds to a minute. Game over, it's not torture. And I want to tell you, it was good night, Irene. It felt like my brain had been short-circuited. I was up at night on my knees praying to God, please, I have 2 little daughters, I just want to live. I was having chest pains. It messed with my body.
Okay,
now,
describe what it did. Describe the process.
Well, I mean, it's it is. I'm laying back. My legs are up. My legs were bound. My hands were bound. They started to pour the water. You can see it on the internet. But they started to pour the water, and I'm thinking, okay. And it went right into my nose and shut down my brain. And man, I wanted this to end. Now I'm a little bit embarrassed. They were saying 8 seconds. It may actually have been short of 8 seconds. It was something I wanted to stop. Look, that's why we used it. And again, 3 people were waterboarded. If we picked up somebody off the battlefield and we could save lives, I think it's a bigger issue than what I can address. I really do. I think it's too big of an issue for me, Alex. Should we do it? Look, if it's going to save American lives, I don't know. I also want to tell you, I'm sure you already know, about the Manchester documents. Manchester documents found in Manchester, England, where some of my favorite music comes out of. And it was the Al-Qaeda playbook. And they basically say, no matter what, claim torture. So, you give them too much Captain Crunch at Guantanamo, they claim torture. They claim torture for everything. So I wanted to prove this was just another thing they claim torture about, the ACLU in league with them, everything else. And I was going to prove that it wasn't torture. So
Mancow Muller, syndicated radio host who did last week, made major headlines throughout this week for those that just joined us being waterboarded and coming out and saying, yes, it's torture. Look, this is, and you know why they're attacking you. It's because you have supported the view that it's not torture and supported go ahead and use harsh interrogation to quote, win the war and save the military lives. But that's why this has been so damning to them. Obviously, now you're seeing the disingenuousness and the deceptiveness of these people as they're coming out and now trying to discredit you and saying you're a liar, all because when separately the PR firm at Talk Radio Network, totally separate in the company, and I know how this stuff works, they, the police show up saying you can't waterboard, so they say, don't worry, it's just a hoax, and then now they're trying to spin that and use that. But I mean, that's asinine. It's on video. They poured the water down your nose. The Army admits it's torture.
But Alex, that's not exactly what happened. Look, the network that syndicates my show, the police here in my city, the company that runs my home base station, building management, my insurance company, everybody, we talked about it for a few days. And look, I understand. I can't allow an employee to waterboard. You could die. I'm not going to allow one of my employees to waterboard. Would you, Alex?
Hey, I've already decided, Mancow, I'll announce it now. I'm going to get an actual, somebody trained in it, and I'm going to be waterboarded. Okay. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to see if I can hold out 30 seconds.
Well, I hope you can, and maybe you'll do a different version than I did. My version.
I'm going to get the full deal. I'm going to have them stick my head completely. See, that's a field waterboarding that you got.
Yeah.
The hardcore type. Have you seen Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson when they put him on a stretcher and stick his head in the water?
That was about you.
That's the real deal.
That movie was about you, wasn't it?
No, but the Woody Harrelson character in the 2012 movie, I've talked to him, is me, but go ahead.
All right. No, well, so whatever. We had to tell people that, we're not really going to do it because we didn't want to get shut down.
I understand.
The fact is we did it, and it's horrific, and but should we use it to save lives? Alex, it's a tough one. What do you think?
Well, I know that now that if our troops get captured, foreign governments can torture them and say it's okay. And I know that our founders figured out it was bad. The British did it. Our forefathers didn't. They spoke out against it.